but it's all through a screen. No real reciprocal interaction.
And that's what makes it so dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to project onto these public figures, especially when social media allows them to curate an image that's complete.
Welcome to Book Haven.
Okay, so ready to dive into some more juicy Hollywood tales.
Always up for a good story, especially one that peels back the curtain a little.
Right. And today we're going deep with The Close-Up by Pip Drysdale. This psychological thriller just dropped late last year. And,
I read this one too.
yeah,
So good.
really enjoyed it.
Okay, so it follows this writer, Zoe Ann Weiss, super talented, but like a lot of us, dealing with writer's block. On top of that, she's got all the pressure of making it in Hollywood.
Yeah, that whole make it or break it atmosphere.
Exactly. And just when things couldn't get more complicated, she gets mixed up with a famous actor. And hold on, because then there's a stalker in the picture,
Oh yeah, that stalker storyline.
who seems to be getting a little too inspired by her own novel. Talk about meta.
Definitely adds a layer of oh wow to the whole thing.
It really makes you think about the dark side of fame. And that's what we're going to untangle today. What does this story tell us about the allure and the danger of fame? What do you think? What jumped out at you right away? Well, right off the bat, Drysdale doesn't shy away from showing us the underbelly of Hollywood. You know, it's not all just red carpets and champagne. She really digs into the cost of ambition, how it can warp your sense of self.
And it's not always in some big dramatic way, right? It's subtle.
It's insidious. Like Zoe, the main character, she's struggling with this internal battle. Stay true to her artistic vision or sell out for the big bucks. I think that's something a lot of creative people can relate to. I know I can.
Totally. And the setting almost becomes another character.
Right.
Like Hollywood itself is pushing her towards these compromises.
It's like this pressure cooker forcing her to make these tough choices. And it makes you wonder, how far would you go to achieve your dreams?
Right, like what would you sacrifice? And Drysdale's depiction of those moral compromises was really interesting to me. It wasn't always this big dramatic decision.
More like death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes, exactly, like a slow chipping away at her values. She's surrounded by people who see art as a commodity, a product.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about the bottom line. And that constant pressure definitely chips away at her self-worth. And, you know, it made me think of real-life stories. Writers, artists, musicians, so many are pressured to create work that's commercially viable, even if it means straying from their original vision.
It's the age-old dilemma, right? Art versus commerce. But then there's this whole other layer, this stalker element, that takes the idea of fame being a double-edged sword to a whole new level.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Talk about a dark side.
The fact that this stalker's obsession is fueled by Zoe's own novel. I mean, talk about blurring the lines between fiction and reality.
It really messes with your head. And that's where I think Drysdale really gets into the psychology of fame. This stalker fixates on a character in Zoe's book, right? Believing they have this deep, special connection, which, you know, reminding me of parasocial relationships. We see it all the time in real life, right?
Oh yeah, especially with the rise of social media.
It's crazy. It's like a one-sided relationship. A fan develops this intense emotional connection with a celebrity, but it's all through a screen. No real reciprocal interaction.
And that's what makes it so dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to project onto these public figures, especially when social media allows them to curate an image that's completely separate from reality.
Exactly. And the book really shows how dangerous that can be when someone takes those projections too far.
And then the lines between fantasy and reality completely disappear.
Exactly. It raises all these questions about boundaries, the ethics of artistic expression even, and our responsibility as consumers of art and media. I mean, think about how much we consume these days.
It's like we're constantly bombarded with images and stories. So much to unpack there.
It's a lot to process.
Really is. So where does the novel leave us? What did you think of the ending?
Well, it's not a neat and tidy ending. It doesn't give you all the answers tied up in a bow, but I actually like that about it because it forces you to think. It leaves you pondering this fine line between ambition and obsession, and how our desire for connection, which is so human, right, can lead us down some pretty dark paths. It really made me question the stories we tell ourselves about fame and success, and what we're willing to do to achieve them.
I like that. It makes you question everything.
Yeah.
And it definitely leaves you with more questions than answers.
And isn't that what good art should do? Provoke us to think a little deeper.
Absolutely. Food for thought, for sure. So, for our listeners out there, if you're looking for a psychological thriller that will keep you guessing and make you question the price of fame, definitely check out the close-up. Trust us, it's a wild ride.
You won't be disappointed.
And that's a wrap for today's deep dive. Until next time.
See you then.
Grab The Close Up by Pip Drysdale, now on sale for just $18.37. Don't miss this chance to build good habits and achieve remarkable results. Click Buy Now today.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.